When I was a kid, and to be honest, still today, there's two things I love about summer. They are skipping stones and cannonballs. Now, what in the world could those two things have anything to do with mindfulness training? Well, quite simple. One in a very subtle way, and one in a very non-subtle way. Bring disturbance to the water and create a rippling effect. In the same way, there are people and events that in very subtle ways, in very non-subtle ways, bring a very disturbing and rippling effect into our lives. Today's practice is going to be all about recognizing when those disturbances and rippling effects are taking place and what our response to them is. You see, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. We have people or circumstances that are going to come into our life and disrupt it. But how we react to that is going to have a bigger impact on the rippling effect than the initial event itself. Imagine it this way. An event happens. I throw a stone into the water. It hits and then it ripples out. Even a big stone and a disturbing stone, as soon as it hits, it's going to start rippling out and then calm again. But if I jump in after that stone and try to undo the stone, am I going to create more or less of a rippling effect? How many times in our lives, when an event or an individual comes into our life and creates a disturbance, is our initial reaction to jump in and somehow eliminate that disturbance, only to create more of a negative and lasting rippling effect in our lives? I'm not saying you have to be a passive individual and allow negative and disruptive people to come into your life and do whatever they want. What I'm saying is, I want you to be aware of what you are doing, when you are doing it, why you are doing it, and are you getting the intended result? We're not looking at whether you're right or wrong in your reaction. I'm simply asking you, are you getting the intended result that you desire by your action? If there's a disruption in your life and your intended and desired result is to get that disruption out so that your life can become peaceful again, is your reaction creating more of a disruption and a disturbance or less? So in today's practice, we're going to do just that. We're going to practice stepping back for a moment and stepping back again and again until we can look at that disturbance not from jumping in and an inside view of chasing that rock into the pond, if you will, and trying to control it, but rather from the shore and letting it settle on its own until we go in and try to figure out a resolution. All right, so let's find a posture. And let's take a deep breath in. And let's exhale. And as we begin to settle in, let's think of a situation or a person who brings disruption into your life. Maybe it was an auto accident. Somebody rear-ended you, cut you off. Maybe it was a situation at work. Somebody came in and dropped a bunch of paperwork or something else on your desk. Maybe it was an interaction at home with your children or your spouse. Maybe it was shopping. somebody else was on that same aisle and a little more disruptive with their cart in your life. Just take a moment and I want you to jump right in that disruptive moment. And I want you to feel and think about how you felt there and what that initial reaction was. Just take a deep breath in. Exhale. See that situation. Feel those emotions. And recognize what's going on. Recognize that there's a rippling effect occurring. That your anatomy, your physiology, your well-being is being thrown off a little bit. Now, I want you to take a deep breath in. Exhale. I want you to step back a few steps from that image. I want you to get out of it. If you're deep in it, I want you to get out of it and get a little bird's eye view. Step back from it. And feel yourself beginning to distance. The intensity is still there, but it's not in and part of you right now. I want you to see it and feel it from about arm's length away. I want you to take a deep breath in. Exhale. And take a couple steps back yet again. So now it's about a body's length away from you. This intense experience, this emotion. I want you to begin to notice how the perspective is changing, how the energy is changing, and how it's less affecting you and more about something that's going on around you. And I want you to take another deep breath in. Exhale. And step back yet again. And now, you're a good 10-15 feet away. You're seeing the whole rippling effect across the pond. You're standing on the pond, if you will, on the pond edge, and seeing that ripple effect through the whole pond. Not just the initial landing, but now you have that full perspective of seeing everything that's going on. And what I want you to do for a moment is to observe your feelings and your experience of observing that same situation, from jumping right in and being in the middle of it to now being this far back and observing it. Take a deep breath in. Exhale. We're slowly going to start coming back. Take a deep breath in. Let it all go. Exhale. Open your eyes. Come on back. Okay, so what's the little takeaway today from this practice? It's simply this. The first is to be aware when a person or event is acting like a giant cannonball in your life and simply disrupting it. But instead of jumping in and trying to stop that initial disruption, is taking a breath, exhaling, and stepping back from the situation. Not allowing yourself to get caught up in the immediate big hubbub. And then you take another breath and you step back a little bit more because you know what's happening. The disturbance has already happened. You're not going to change that. But are you going to make it worse by jumping right in? Or can you step back, allow it to do its natural process, and maybe in the end recognizing that as big as it was, The ripples went their way, and now it's all settled again. And it was much more easy and efficient for you to simply breathe and step back than it was to jump in. Am I saying never jump in? No. What I'm saying is be mindful of when you're being pulled in and when you're stepping in. So the next time that person or that event comes into your life, take a deep breath in, step back, and observe. And keep breathing until you get a clear enough picture to see what's going on so that you can address the situation in a way that gets your desired results. Keeping in mind, if you simply jump in and react, you're allowing that individual and that event to dictate your reaction, potentially the outcome. And you're much too mindful to allow that to happen anymore.